Most people believe awareness is the solution. They believe that once they see what's happening inside them, once they understand their patterns, once they become conscious, change will automatically follow. But here's the uncomfortable paradox: the people who are suffering the most are often the most self aware ones. They can name their triggers, they know their childhood patterns, they understand their emotions, and yet they still react the same way. They still procrastinate, they still shut down, overthink, or explode. If you ever thought, I know better, so why do I still do this? This video is for you. Because this isn't a motivation problem, this is not a discipline problem. It is a biology problem. And once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself, and real change finally becomes possible. I am Afzal Patni, and I work with professionals, founders, and high performers who feel stuck not because they lack awareness, but because awareness alone hasn't freed them. Now, what awareness actually does? Let's clarify something important. Awareness is powerful, but awareness has a specific role. Awareness activates the observing mind, the part of you that can notice thoughts, emotions, reactions. It allows you to say, ah, this is happening again. I'm getting triggered. I'm reacting instead of responding. That particular key is the awareness. That's valuable. We all need that. But awareness does not regulate your nervous system. Awareness just shows you what it is. And this is where most people get stuck. Because under stress, pressure, conflict, and uncertainty, your brain does not operate from awareness, it operates from survival. Here's what happens neurologically: the amygdala detects the threat, and your nervous system shifts into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Blood flows away from the prefrontal cortex, and logical thinking reduces dramatically. So, even though awareness exists, choice disappears in the moment. And this is why people say, I knew I shouldn't react, but but it just happened. That's not weakness, that's how the brain is designed. And why aware people feel more frustrated about this. Here's something most people don't talk about: awareness without understanding creates a self judgment. You start saying things like, I should be better than this. I've done the work. Why am I still here? What's wrong with me? Awareness shows you the pattern, but it doesn't stop the pattern. So instead of freedom, you feel trapped with insight. And that is even greater level of frustration. This is why high intelligent, emotionally aware people often experience deeper frustration than people who are unconscious. They see the cage but don't yet have the key for it. Many times they know the triggers and everything, but they don't know the source point of it. So pinpointing that is also a necessary task. So in that case, it's awareness, but half awareness. Now you need to understand how loops actually form. To understand why awareness isn't enough, we need to understand loops. A loop is not a habit. A loop is a conditioned nervous system response. Here's how it forms. An emotional experience happens early in life. The body learns how to survive it. The response gets repeated. The brain labels it familiar, and familiar becomes safe, and safe becomes automatic because your brain is designed to keep you safe. And the brain's priority is not happiness, it's predictability. So, whatever is familiar will always feel safer, and that is what the brain chooses. That is why many people who are in relationships or who come out of relationship, they jump into another which is very similar to the old one. They try to find partners who were similar to the old one, even though they don't want that particular trait, but they end up finding that one. That is how deeply our brain is designed. So, without our conscious self part into it, the subconscious is so powerful and running 90% of us, and it chooses what we don't see clearly. So, even if a response causes pain, it is familiar, brain will reuse it. That is why you overthink even when it hurts, avoid even when you want growth. You react emotionally before logic arrives. And this is one of the key things which has been taken over through social media as well. We know that too much of a screen time on social media is not good, but it's so familiar and it's brain grasping, attention grasping that we go on doing it. Same goes in the binge watching of any particular series or TV shows. So you need to understand that you're not choosing the response anywhere. The response is choosing you. And awareness doesn't interrupt this automatically because loops live below conscious thoughts. Now, why pushing harder makes it worse? Most high performers respond to this by trying or doing something what they know best. They push harder, more discipline, more control, more self talk, more pressure. But pressure signals danger to nervous system. A nervous system that feels unsafe cannot sustain change. So what happens? You make progress for a few days, then stress hits because overloading is happening, and then the old response returns stronger. This is why burnout happens to disciplined people. This is why self control collapses under pressure, and you cannot override biology with willpower because most of the willpower is also very much associated with the motivation task for many people. And once that fades, everything collapses. It's like you're trying to balance the whole Jenga on just a one single piece, which is kept vertical. Now, the correct sequence of change. Real change follows a specific order. Awareness is first, noticing the pattern. Second is understanding, seeing how the loop starts. Third is the regulation, calming the nervous system. And fourth is the direction, choosing a new response. Most people stop at step one and then they wonder why nothing changed. When you understand where the trigger lives in the body, how fast the loop activates, why awareness arrives late, you stop fighting yourself. And once regulation is present, direction becomes very natural, not force, not exhaustion, and it doesn't collapse under emotional circumstances because that is the true direction coming out truly out of you, and it get imprinted in your subconscious brain part of it also. Now, if this video described you or helped you in any way, you need to understand your life isn't broken, it's looping. And loops don't need motivation, they don't need pressure, they don't need self criticism, they need clarity. Link below, decode my loop.